Our next section of videos are on investment. And to start out with investment, we're going to talk about the simplest form of growth of any sort of investment or loan, and that is simple interest. Simple interest is exactly what it sounds like. It is the simplest way to calculate interest. In a simple interest note or a simple interest account, interest is only calculated under one of two conditions. One is at the end of the term. The second would be that there is an action on the account. An action can either be a payment or withdrawal. So putting money in or taking money out is an action. So before that action can be done, they calculate the simple interest. So simple interest is governed by a simple interest formula. And that formula is I equals P R T. Let's define what each of those pieces stand for. I is the dollar amount of interest earned or charged if it's a loan. P is the principal. Principal is the starting amount of an investment or of a loan at the beginning of the time frame. R stands for rate. A rate, remember, is a percent as a decimal. And finally, we have T, which is time. And T is always expressed in years. Now, there's another term that gets put into this. If I look at this as a timeline, that principal, as we said, is the amount at the beginning of the investment or the loan. During the loan, interest is added in, only at the very end, of course, at the end of the term. And at the end, you have something called the maturity value. That's how much it is worth at the very end. So the second formula that works with this simple interest is that the maturity value, whether it's the loan or an investment, is equal to the principal plus that interest earned. So let's focus on this simple interest formula for a while. Let's take an example of find the simple interest earned on $4,500 invested at 6% for 5 years. So here we're looking for the interest, I. Our principal is the $4,500. I tend to always put the rate in parentheses. 6% is the rate. We turn that into a decimal for the rate is 0.06. And then our time of 5 years, so times 5. So we're just going to multiply those up to get the amount of interest. 4,500 times 0.06 times 5. We get $1,350 in interest. Similar to that, we could take the next step. We could say find the maturity value of $6,000 invested at 4.5% simple interest for 8 years. So we start out with that I equals PRT formula. And we're going to be finding I. Our principal is the $6,000 times our rate, 4.5% as a rate is 0.045, and our time is 8 years. So once again, we just multiply that out. 6,000 times 0.045 times 8, we get $2,161 or $60. But now we're asked to find the maturity value. So that interest gets used in our maturity value formula. The maturity value is the principal plus interest. So we're going to find the maturity value of our principal with $6,000 still, plus our interest of $2,160, giving us a final maturity value amount of $8,160. Well, this simple interest formula can be solved going in the other direction as well. We might be given a problem where we are told we're asked to find the principal for an investment earning $728 in interest at 6.5% simple interest over 4 years. So our formula is still I equals PRT, principal times rate times time. Only this time we have the interest. We have I is $728. We're asked to find the principal, so P is going to stay in there. Times our rate, 6.5% is 0.065. And our time is 4 years. Now, we have to combine whatever we can on each side before we start to solve an equation. So the 728 here is not going to change. We're going to have to combine the 0.065 times 4, which is going to give us 0.26. And now we will solve for that principal. Since it's principal times 0.26, we're going to divide by the 0.26. So 728 divided by 0.26 gives us $2,800 is the principal on that investment. We might be asked, find the rate if a $4,500 investment earns $1,350 in simple interest over 5 years. So once again, it's I equals PRT. And once again, we know I, the dollar amount of the interest here, is $1,350. Our principal is the $4,500. I'm going to take the dollar signs off here just to clear up our equation a little bit. We are looking for the rate. Find the rate. So we're looking for R, and our time is 5 years. So once again, we have to combine what we can on the right side here. So we're going to do the 4,500 times 5, which will give us 22,500. That's still times R, equals 1,350. And we solve that by dividing both sides by the 22,500. So 1,350 divided by that 22,500 is 0.06. So the rate is 0.06, which is 6% simple interest. We might be asked to find the time required to earn $1,890 in simple interest on a $9,000 investment at 3.5% simple interest. A little redundant saying simple interest twice there, but you get the point. So it's still I equals PRT. We have the dollar amount of the interest, 1,890. We have the principal, 9,000. We have the rate, 3.5% becomes 0.035. The time is what we are looking for here. So we're going to combine the 9,000 times 0.035, giving us 315. So 1,890 equals 315 times T. And I will divide by 315 on both sides. Giving us 6 equals T. Remember, T is always in years, so that is 6 years is the time required for that $9,000 investment to earn $1,890 in interest. One last example that I want to show you here. Similar to the last one, find the time required for $2,500 to grow to $4,000 at 9% simple interest. So our formula is still I equals PRT. The way this problem is worded, we have to do a little work to find out some of that information, however. The 2,500 is our principal. 9% is going to be converted to find our rate. We are looking for the time. We have to calculate I, the dollar amount of interest. If we're going from 2,500 to 4,000, that means that we need $1,500 in interest. So the dollar amount of interest is $1,500. The principal is that starting amount of $22,500. Our rate, 9%, is 0.09, and we are looking for the time. So we're going to combine the 2,500 times 0.09, which give us 225. So 1,500 equals 225t. And we'll solve for t by dividing by 225. So 1,500 divided by 225 is 6.666, or 6 2/3 really is what that is as a fraction, or mixed number. So that is 6 2/3 years. At this point, I'm okay with that being left as 6.2/3 years. At some point, you should be able to convert that into 6 years and 8 months. 2/3 of a year, 2/3 of 12 is 8 extra months. But right now, all we're looking for really is that time, which is always given in years. So that is the basic applications of that simple interest formula, the I equals PRT, with time given in years. In our next video, we're going to explore what if the time is given in a unit other than years.